Hello, 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 beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kirby, and I am so excited to be with you today. We are on day 4 of Awaken the Divine Within. My goal is to post a video every single day for the year of 2025. What? Yes, we are doing it. I'm coming in with the spiritual wisdom. I'm a spiritual teacher. I've helped over 15,000 people in over 50 different countries. What the actual? I'm just a small town girl. I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago. Like, what? Yes, it is. And I never ever in my wildest dreams thought that I would be doing this. I was a fashion designer at Ralph Lauren in New York City. I lived in New York City for 10 years. But guess what? I hated my life and I hated myself. And then after a 33-day fast, I had a massive spiritual awakening. It transformed my entire life. This was in 2019. If you want to know about my 33-day fast, comment below and I'll make a video talking about it if that's something that you're interested in. But here I am, and I'm here to support you. I live in Mexico with my daughter. She's almost 3. I love myself now. I love my life. I never, ever, ever in my wildest dreams thought that this would be the life that I would be living. It's absolutely amazing what can happen when you get out of your own way and you actually start living from your soul and you stop living from what you thought you had to be or what you thought you had to do in order to be loved or accepted in this world, because that's actually what we're doing in life. We are operating from a space of what will make us loved, what will make us accepted. If you are genuinely not happy in your life right now, that means that you haven't been living your own life. You have been living a life that you thought you had to live in order to be loved and accepted. I started sewing when I was 11 years old in my home ec class or whatever in middle school. And the act of sewing, which was something that I really genuinely enjoyed doing, that was the thing that got me noticed in my family. I'm one of 6 kids. I'm the middle child. Middle children are commonly overlooked. And that's exactly what happened with me. I split the middle with my brother. So it was me and 2 older sisters and then my brother, and the first boy born in my family. So I was definitely overlooked because the first boy was like the big deal ever. And boys in my family were treated completely different than girls in my family. And I had 2 older sisters who bullied me. And so I just was like this highly sensitive child that was just screaming for love. And so when I started sewing and that started kind of like getting my parents' attention, what that does to you, whether it's sewing or soccer or any kind of thing, playing the trumpet, there's something that gets your parents' attention, and then you as a child attach your identity to it. And then you go your entire life believing that that thing is what makes you good enough, that that thing is what makes you worthy, and it doesn't. It's just the thing that got you attention. So this could be some kind of external thing, like I explained, or it could be being smart. Like maybe being smart is what got your parents to be proud of you, whereas your parents should have just been loving and proud of you just for being you without you having done anything in your life. As humans, we are trying to get our parents' love and acceptance. And so there's something from your life that you attached onto that confirmed to you that that's who you were, that that's what your identity was. Because as a human, there's 3 core needs that we have, is to be seen, heard, and loved unconditionally. And when you do something in your life that gets you seen, heard, and loved unconditionally, that's what sewing did for me. You attach your identity to it. And then your whole life is wrapped around that thing, but you're not truly happy and you don't know why. And you especially don't know why because you've done everything right. You've done everything that everybody told you that you should do for you to be happy, but for some reason you are not happy. And you don't know why and you don't know what to do because you've been led down a path to believe that this is what was supposed to make you happy in life, and it's not. It doesn't make you happy. And your fake identity is attached to something that is irrelevant. It doesn't matter whether it's soccer or law school or being a doctor or sewing or whatever it is. You're never going to feel happy and fulfilled with that thing because that thing was just a facade with your worth attached to it. But let me tell you something, beautiful soul. You are worthy regardless of what you do. You're worthy without your job. You are worthy without a full bank account. You are worthy if you are not in a relationship. Or even if you are in a relationship, you are worthy You are worthy no matter what. You're worthy if you're not fit. You're worthy, like, it doesn't matter. We have these preconceived conceptions in our mind of like, what determines your worth? What makes you good enough? You being a raging success has nothing to do with you being worthy. You are worthy because you are you. You are worthy because you were born. I could cry thinking about it. Like, to know, like, I know how painful it is. Like, I know how it feels to not feel worthy, to not feel good enough, to be trying so hard to make a life work and you feel like you're dying inside and you don't know why you don't feel good enough. And it's because your worth is attached to it. A lot of men, their worth is attached to money, to income, because a big part of male masculine energy is being a provider and a protector. But just being a provider doesn't mean financial. But most men, if they are not financially successful, they don't feel good enough. They don't feel worthy enough. They don't feel deserving enough. And a lot of times with women, our human program, a big thing has been attached to our beauty, our looks, our weight. And if we aren't skinny, if we aren't pretty, if we don't have perfect skin, perfect hair, perfect this, perfect that, then we are not good enough. But then it also comes to your family system. And just like I explained to you about my family system, I'm one of 6. And how you grow up and what your family tells you is important or utilizes as a tool to express attention towards you. Like, if you aren't freely giving attention for no reason as a child, and you're only given attention when you do good in a sport or when you do good in school or when you have an extracurricular or sewing, like I said, soccer, whatever, all these things, if you're only given attention when there is that certain thing present, then you believe that that thing determines your worth. And you've attached your identity to it. And now you're going to go your whole life believing that if I do this, then I am good enough. If I do this, then I'm worthy. If I do this, then I'm deserving. If I do this, then my parents will be proud. If I do this, then I'm loved. If this, then that. And it's false. There's no truth to that whatsoever. This is part of a principle called the do, be, have. But ultimately it stems to the point of, if I do this thing, then I will be this person, and then I will have this thing. Do, be, have. So for you to fully expand and evolve and truly be your soul on your spiritual journey, you have to detach from all of these programs and identities of what the world told you you had to be in order to be worthy. Source, divine, or creator doesn't care what you do in life. What is important is who you are being while you do it. I was miserable being a fashion designer. My dream was to be a fashion designer in New York City. I never knew anybody who was in New York City. My family had no affiliation or connection with New York City. Like, I grew up in a suburb of Chicago, like in a working class family that was like, I grew up not with money. Like, this was a huge pipe dream. But a huge part of that dream was because I felt like if I did that, then I'm enough, then I'm good enough. I didn't realize when I was doing all of this that that's what was going on unconsciously, but that's what was going on. And then 3 weeks into working at Ralph Lauren, I was miserable and I hated it. And I was like, why do I hate this? Like, this was my dream. This was everything I ever wanted. Like, I sacrificed everything in my 20s to make this happen. Like, I should be so happy right now. And it's because my happiness, my worth was contingent upon what I was doing. And if your happiness is always going to be contingent on what you are doing, you are never going to be happy, because what you do does not bring you happiness. Who you are being as a person who is happy will allow you to move through life doing and you will feel happiness while you are doing. If you have to be miserable in the process to get there, that's not going to bring an end goal of happiness and joy and peace. If the road to get there is pain and suffering and sacrifice, you're not going to get at the end and feel happiness and joy and peace, because the energy of pain and suffering is not equal a result of happiness. I empower you to take a step back in your life and inject in how can you bring more joy and happiness into who you are being right now, and start moving through life from a really heart-led, soul-aligned way of being. And how can I feel peace and joy and happiness right now? And how can I move through life operating from that? How can I inject more joy and happiness into my life right now? Don't change anything, but can you allow yourself to feel? We can literally create feelings of happiness instantaneously. Can you allow yourself to feel peace and joy and happiness in all the mundane things that you're currently doing in your life? And now you're shifting your way of being while you are doing. And as a result of your way of being moving from joy and happiness and peace, it's going to shift what you start doing, because you're going to start moving from different energy. You're no longer going to be operating from, if I do this, then I will be this and I will have this. Instead, you'll be operating from, I am being my soul. I am being the embodiment of the divine, which is joy and happiness and peace. And as a result of embodying and being that, you'll be directed to do different things to live your highest expression. Like the same drive to the grocery store, the same walking around at the grocery store, the journey is the same. It's who you're being on the journey. When you're driving to the grocery store, are you angry and upset at the traffic and all the things that are happening, or are you choosing to be in a state of happiness and joy and gratitude for the beautiful opportunity to slow down in traffic and just decide to be in a state of peace instead of being in a state of reactivity? When you're walking in the grocery store, are you angry and upset because there's so many people there on a Saturday? Or are you dancing through the grocery store, listening to the music, smiling at people, waving at the helpers, having a grand old time? You're still going to buy the groceries, but who are you being while you buy the groceries? Who are you being while you're driving to the grocery store? Who are you being while you're cooking your breakfast? Are you angry because you had to wake up and you're annoyed with your life? Or are you choosing to dance while you're cooking your breakfast every morning, having a grand old time? Are you sitting there smiling and laughing while you drink your coffee or your matcha latte, your chai latte, or whatever it is? Who are you being? And if you never consciously chose it, then it was chosen for you by your parents unconsciously. To live your grandest, most amazing life, your highest expression, to awaken the divine within you, beautiful soul, means you have to start becoming conscious of how you are being in your day-to-day, how you are showing up in your day-to-day. Who are you? Who you are being while you are doing all of the mundane things says everything about you. That's the version that the world is experiencing. Are you proud to be that person? Are you in a state of happiness and joy and peace yourself? Or are you angry at the world, angry at your bank account, angry at your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend? Your way of being is the only thing that matters. I was never ever going to be happy being a fashion designer because I believed that what I was doing determined if I was good enough. I am an amazing designer. I'm an amazing seamstress. I have 3 degrees in fashion design. I have certificates in haute couture. I have skilled techniques in my hands. I've been sewing for over 25 years. I am a master seamstress. I'm amazing at it. I know that I am. And I love it and I enjoy it just for myself. You're probably never going to experience that side of me. That is something that is a beautiful gift that I have, but I have zero desire to utilize that in the world in a way of making money or in a way of doing. because it's something that I just simply enjoy for myself now at this point. As long as I tried to do it as a work, I was miserable with it because my worth was attached to it. But when I'm doing it just for the pure joy and greatness of myself or for somebody that I love, I radiate with it. I love it. It's amazing. Whatever it is that you're doing in life, you can't have the energy behind what you're doing be that thing will determine your worthiness and your deservingness in life. You don't have to do anything. You are worthy and deserving right now for doing nothing. Your worth isn't like a question, it's a fact. That's it. You are worthy, simply. That is it, point blank. Your worth is not determined upon anything. And as long as you have a belief or an energy behind how you're moving through life that you are worthy dependent upon what you're doing, you're never going to be happy. That's why I was at my most miserable at my last few years in New York City, because I had no idea how to be happy because I wasn't happy at my job, and I had a deep belief that my worth was dependent upon my job, and I didn't know what to do because I had sacrificed my entire 20s. I moved to New York City by myself when I was 20 years old. I drove there from Chicago to New York City. I had an unpaid internship. I worked my way up from the freaking bottom, from an unpaid internship to being a fashion designer at Ralph Lauren. I mean, it's like the most amazing story ever. But at the end of the story, I literally was so unhappy, had such deep anxiety and depression, and I didn't know how to be happy. I had no idea how to be happy because I believed that doing that was what was going to make me good enough, and that me finally being good enough would mean that I could finally have permission to be happy. But your happiness isn't contingent upon anything. Happiness is a choice. You can be happy at any moment. You just haven't known that you actually are allowed to be happy. I give you permission right now. You can be happy right now. You don't have to do anything to be happy. Happiness is a choice in every moment of every day and every minute. You are 100% in control of your thoughts and emotions every single day. Maybe you don't know that. I didn't know that. But your emotions are a choice. Feeling happiness is a choice. Cooking breakfast happy is a choice, or cooking breakfast angry and anxious and upset is a choice. You have to start making different choices. If you want to see a different life, you have to start choosing different things. You have to choose how you start showing up in life. And the more that you deepen your self-realization and knowing that you are already perfect, you are loved already now for who you are. You're worthy and deserving right freaking now. And you have to start bringing yourself back to that and peeling yourself away from this external stuff in your life that you've used to fill a void to make you feel more worthy. I believe my daughter just woke up, so I'm going to close this out here. The biggest thing for me to land with you is that you are already worthy. You are already deserving. You are already enough.